Well, it's that time of year again, and by that time of year, I mean September, which is the month before Worlds, and yet we're already going to be talking about off-season and 2024 because that's how the news cycle works, and I am beholden to the news cycle in order to sustain my business, and you all are beholden to it in order to sustain your interest. So that's what we're going to be doing here. In this notebook, everybody always asks what I'm holding. It's a note. I take notes, and then I put them here, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. Some crazy predictions for 2024 and for this offseason. None of them are going to be roster related, well, directly roster related. I'm going to talk broadly about the way that I see the ecosystem going. So don't expect me to be like, oh, this player's joining TSM, because the TSM's not even going to be here. So yeah. Anyway, this video is brought to you by Alienware. You can check out their new Aurora. It's sitting over there. But also you can check it out in the link below. I will shout them out more at the end of this video. Anyway, let's get into it. And by get into it, I mean these are my gut instincts, okay? These are not things that Travis is officially reporting. Do not go on Reddit or Twitter and said Travis said this is going to happen 100%. These are just me sort of throwing things out there, and then we can sort of see how I did at the end of this year or the beginning of next. Prediction number 1, there will be 2 new teams in the LCS. I almost said 3. I could say 3. I feel like there's a good chance there's 3. But if I say 2, then it looks better if there's 3 than if I say 3 and there's only 2. And I think TSM will almost certainly be one of them. Hey everyone, Travis here, just chiming in to say that we actually did record these before the Shopify news came out. In fact, it was the day before the Shopify stuff came out, so there's like some references to like, oh, what's going on with TSM or whatever. Just know that that's because we did that. But most of the video still, well, the vast majority of the video still holds up. So there you go. That's kind of cheating. They've already said they're planning on leaving, but I'm very confident now that they are going to be leaving the LCS. And I'm going to expand on this one by telling you 4 teams that I think it won't be by using common sense, which we can all use. C9, Team Liquid, FlyQuest, and NRG, I think, are fine. Fly and NRG just bought in. They're not going to be doing anything different. I think C9 and TL, they're not looking to do anything. So the 5 teams here that I have potentially leaving, are Immortals, Golden Guardians, Dignitas, EG, Hunter T. If it was any of these teams, I would not be surprised. And if it wasn't any of these teams and they stick around, I would not be surprised. So those are just the ones that I think it will be. If it's any of the other list, I would be very surprised. Number 2, I think Riot will make a major format change to the LCS, and I think I won't like it. I think that they are kind of in this mode where, like, we got to change everything. You know, what was the Needham thing where he's like, we got to change stuff. You can't keep things going the same. Yeah, I agree with that, but also you can't just change everything willy-nilly. But I think that they will look at the LEC format and they will say, hey, we think that one has some issues. And so they probably won't do that one. But they'll come up with some other one that I will think will be unnecessary. I don't know if we're going to best of 2s or best of 3s, or if we're going to do 4 splits a year and we'll only have one of those actually be in an arena. I have no idea what's up, but I am just expecting that they will make a major format change and that it will probably not help. Number 3, I think that the LCS schedule will probably change and probably still be about just as bad as this year's, because I think they could look at this schedule that they put on and be like, okay, no one really liked it and it didn't work out really well. And instead of being like, hey, what about that schedule that nobody ever complained about that worked well, and doing that, they will be like, nah, we don't like that. We're going to do something different. So I don't know if that will be, they go back to 12, which was their original plan for this year. Needham, in an interview with me, had said that he kind of felt like they should have done 12. I still think that's really goofy. I push really heavily against it. But ultimately, I think what this schedule change will do is we will either have, we'll basically have some people be happy about it and some people be unhappy about it. And ultimately, it'll be about the net same as this schedule is right now, right? Where, like, if they move it to instance to 12, suddenly some people on the East Coast will be happier and West Coast people will be less happy or something. But I do not think that the schedule change they will make will be actually better for more people than the one that is happening right now. And I don't think that it's going to save the LCS viewership. I just don't think that that's what's up, because they don't understand that Saturday and Sunday for some reason is better for most people than others. Prediction number 4. Some people will like this one, I think. I think there will be less import players. And then I will add on here that of the new import players that come in, I think they will... Go. Prediction number 4, and I think this will make some people happy. I think there will be less import players next year. I think teams are not going to shell out the same way they did, which also means that the import players that you do get will probably be ones that you maybe have not heard of before, or they're from less prestigious regions. Basically, think about it this way. They're going to spend less money on import players, which probably means both less import players and players that they have to spend less money on. So that'll be good or bad. I don't know. I mean, I definitely think it'd be great if there's more North American talent coming in, but also I worry because I think this year we already saw some sides of what happens whenever you try to find budget players from other regions, and it's not always the best. Number 5, and this is a big one. Everybody's talking about JoJo leaving Evil Geniuses. They're all like, oh, JoJo's leaving. JoJo's going to leave. I don't know where this is coming from, other than like, I think people want it to be a thing. I haven't heard anything. And a quick cut in here, because I recorded this a while ago. I was going to post it this week, and now I'm pretty sure I already got this prediction wrong because of things that I've been starting to hear, a little bit of movement. I do think that now my prediction as of this time is that JoJo will leave EG. So we'll see how things go. Number 6, and I don't want to get anyone too excited. This is kind of like a gut feeling, but I do think we will see at least one influencer enter the LCS on the org side in 2024. I don't think it'll be Mr. Beast. Please don't comment Mr. Beast. I know anytime anybody says anything, they're like, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I don't think it's going to be Mr. Beast. But it could be Toast coming in, because obviously he's done a bunch of stuff down in the lower section of the North American competitive scene. But you could see some other players too, or some other influencers come in and do something interesting, because I think there's a lot of conversation around this stuff. I think if you're right, you probably want something like this to happen. So I would not be surprised. Prediction number 7. I believe that there will be tons of roster turnover. And anybody who watches this channel talks about how much I think that actually damages the league when you have players moving in and out of the league, and or you have players moving between teams. That one I think is a little less of an issue than players moving in and out of the league, because at least the brand equity that you invest into that player is still within the league. That being said, I think salaries are going to come down a lot. We've already seen some of that this year with things like what happened with EG. I think TSM ran far more budget of a situation with their team this year than they have previously. Overall, salaries are just coming down. But what that means is that, one, we have a ton of contracts that are expiring. In fact, I did a video here you can watch. If you missed it, you can go see which ones are expiring this year. But the other thing is the contracts that are already going to exist are going to be contracts where the team is coming to them and saying, let's renegotiate. Like, we don't want to pay you what we've been paying you. We need to pay you less. And when that happens, it affords the player option to be like, well, I don't take that offer. And they say, okay, then we're going to cut your contract. And then they can go someplace else. Alternatively, you might see, and I think there's not too many of these players, but a lot of them have already left, but you might see some players that have been playing for a long time also leave, because if they're suddenly being offered half of what they've been making for the past couple of years, they might be like, I'm getting up in there in years. I've been doing this for a while. Maybe the glory days of LCS are over, so I'll retire. So I think what that means is you're just going to see a lot of players maybe be like, all right, I'm going to leave North America. I'm going to go back to the region I'd played in previously or that I grew up in. Or you could see them saying, I'm going to retire. Or of the ones that do stick around in the LCS, I think they'll say, I'm going to go test the free agency market and see what's out there, even if a lot of those deals are not that great. So I just think we're going to see crazy roster turnover. Also, I forgot to mention, because I think there's going to be new teams, anytime you have new teams entering the league, it also creates a lot of chaos, because those teams probably don't keep all their players. Maybe they get released ahead of time, ahead of the deal going on, or a new GM comes in with a new idea of what they want to build. So I just think it's going to be wild next year. And we've had a lot of crazy years, but this one I could see being maybe the craziest ever. All right, this last one is not a prediction. It's just a statement because I know that this is true. And so I was thinking about making it a prediction, but then that's kind of cheating. So I do think Riot is rebranding the LCS again. And I think they just did this a couple years ago when they made like a new logo and a new catchphrase and all that stuff. They've been working on another rebrand for a while. I think it'll hit in spring 2024. So you'll probably see a new logo. You'll see all this stuff. I don't think these are as important as everything else. I think companies tend to overvalue what branding does and what it means and all that stuff, but that's what Riot is doing, and we'll get to see it and experience it. Honestly, like if you go look at the Disguised Toast stuff, like they have branding, but it is clearly not something they are spending a ton of focus on, and yet people love that org for all these other reasons, and I think that's where I think Riot should be putting their effort. All right, so what does this all mean? Because some of this I feel like I'm kind of jaded on, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to suck, this is going to suck. I don't mean that. I actually think there's a lot of really good things that can come out of this. I did this video a couple of weeks ago, I think, where I was talking about how chasing success and all that stuff led to a lot of issues with the league, and a lot of what I said there was that it was due to money. A lot of that money is going to wash out, and I think that that's going to actually create, even if a lot of chaos in the short term, long term, I could actually see LCS being in a way healthier position if we start to see a return to sort of the spending and the culture and the mentality that was around in the league back in, say, 2016, 2015. That stuff I think is going to help out a ton. On the other hand, you'll notice that whenever I said Riot's going to do this, I actually don't think it's going to help. I think that's kind of the funny thing is that I'm optimistic for the LCS for a lot of the reasons that don't involve the decisions that Riot is making. Because if you look at everything they've done in the last couple of years, it's not really been great. I don't credit them too much for the broadcast changes, quite frankly. And everything else has been not ideal. And I think they're going to continue to make decisions that are like that in 2024. So we'll see. Things to be positive on, things to be optimistic about, some things to be skeptical on. But how many of these will I get right? I don't know. You can come back and comment on this YouTube video later on and let me know. But other than that, please stick around and watch this outro. Thanks so much for watching that video. Before you go, I wanted to show off the new Alienware Aurora R16 desktop. You know, sharing a space with my roommate, it's always nice to ensure that I'm keeping things quiet while I'm working or gaming. And with its new improved airflow and lower acoustics, my apartment is quieter than ever. All of this while keeping max performance from the hexagonal vents that allow ambient air in. Get yours today at alienware.com/Travis.